Hello, hello, hello. Alright, y'all excuse me because it's kind of early and I don't want to be too loud, but I want to get this message out before the bustle starts of the day. May Spirit guide me to deliver this message with as minimal ego. This way the truth can come out and just be done, okay? Nothing extra, no sauce, okay? Now, the topic of conversation I'm about to get into is going to be very sensitive. So, at any point you don't like what I am saying, or you cannot digest what I am saying, cut off the video. You don't have to be part of this consciousness. Okay? We're going to take close up. I want to make sure everybody hear what I am saying. All right? Now, as you can see behind me, there's some different symbols here, some different Adinka symbols. And as I was watching them the other day, I thought to myself, these are my badges. Okay? These are my badges, my life badges. Okay? I went through certain rites of passages in order for me to gain certain lessons. Okay? In my own journey here. Okay? And I'm very proud for the divine wisdom, divine understanding. Okay, now most recently I've drew this one here, Iban, which has to do with fence. It literally translates to fence from Twi, right? Is it Twi? Oh, Akan language. We'll look it up later. But either way, the fence is supposed to represent security and love. Security as well in love, right? A lot of my readings, they talk about, randomly, they'll be talking about security and love. Security and love. All right? Where there's lack of security, love cannot exist. Okay? These are one of the fundamental principles of life. You understand what I'm saying? Love cannot express itself fully in an insecure environment. And it starts with oneself. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because there's a light side and then there's a shadow side of things. And I read for both. Okay, I could go from light to shadow. Okay, transition this way. All right, so there's a lighter version. Go check out the reading on YouTube. Okay, this is for the shadow parts of this conversation. When it comes to a divine union between a masculine and feminine woman, okay, there's an imprinting and there's a bond, all right, that must be secured and also for it, in order for it to grow. All right, now in the societies that we live in, there's cultural, religious, what I like to call spiritual uncleanliness. Okay, but don't take offense to what I'm saying. Try to listen with an open heart and an open mind before you shut it down. But like I said, I know everyone is under their own level of programming and own level of understanding. So do not take this on and say, well, this girl said, don't care what I say. If you are happy and well, go ahead and do what you're doing. Okay. Now, I'm just using what my eyes, not just these eyes, have seen. And not only that, there's more eyes. Okay? So speak the truth and shame the devil. All right? Which is the lie and the deception of one's heart and mind and soul. Okay? Now, the divine union between man and woman is a very sacred, sacred thing. All right? When you introduce other entities or foreign spirits into that union, that's under covenant, all right? Sacral energy covenant, which is the closest thing to our root chakra, our security. All right? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about when there's infidelity. I'm talking about when one party steps out of the covenant and then uses their sacral energy with another spirit, another soul. You literally are pissing in the pool of your covenant. It's the truth. Okay? So, whether or not this person has religious spiritual principalities, which again live here in the concept of man, or their culture allows it, right? It doesn't matter. When a man and a woman unite and they imprint and bond with each other in the sacral region, whether or not everyone bears witness or not, okay, there's a bond that's created. So it doesn't matter what your friends, your family, whatever their advice would be to you. What starts happening as a woman, I will speak, is your heart. Okay, and if you was in divine union, mean all your chakras are centered and they allow passageway, your heart is not disconnected from your pum pum. Your heart is not disconnected from your sacral region. All right? Once that has been infiltrated, a bond is broken. Now, you could try to conceptually understand it, and obviously forgiveness will come. But forgiveness does not mean access to, and forgiveness does not mean to allow re-entry. Because once somebody shows you who they are, you must believe them. That doesn't stop just because you're in a marriage. And this comes back to the whole principle of you don't follow man, you follow God. And God is internal. And your ancestors are watching. Okay? So, part of redemption, of course, you redeem. And I'm sure there's people who are in unions, because not all unions are under the, marriage of the community. Okay? I'm going to get into something else too. Why this also belongs here. Tamfo bebre. Envy, jealousy. Okay, once that bond is broken, you start giving way to this. And it was not even of your doing. Because you become of one flesh, one spirit, one body with this person. And then they outsource the sacral energy that you share together. That energy is one of creation. When man and woman come together, creation is just bound to be there. Life. Aye. Okay? So, once one steps out, introduces a new energy, it doesn't matter what the first wife, again, culturally speaking, this is something that exists in the world. Much respect to all you. Do what you have to do. Don't let me contangarize your heart if it's not true what I'm saying. Okay? But women oftentimes put themselves down in order for men to feel this egoic nature. Or they settle for less. Instead of having divine union, they have one that's based off of other things, to include financial security. All right? So remember when you say you sell your soul to gain the world, that is also for this feminine energy. So what starts happening is what you see in society in a certain time and space, where women look at men, instead of bonding and one of divine union, divine counterparts, one in which we share one sacral body, sacred and sacral body. The women look at you as a financial security, which is the root, and that's it. Because you have contangerized the connection between their sacral, their solar plexus, which holds their willpower, and their heart. So you are now selling your soul in order to gain the world. And this is when you watch the women, why are they in a state of confusion? Shout out to the old Kevin Samuels days, may him rest in peace, is that they start calling in talking about 6 figures, this and this, because they have lost the divine union between a man and a woman. They've lost the security. Because they choose to stay with partners who did not honor that union, or they have put themselves on a hierarchy list. So this way, any woman that he's now bringing in, that will be the second wife. But I am the first wife. I am this. I am better. So now you have now risen yourself above another woman who genetically is also of equal to you. And if you think that's not true, then you have now fallen into this: envy, jealousy. What woman are you better than? When God has created her to be a woman, XX chromosome, full completion. But you would rather believe that, oh, because I was first. Categorize your spirit, categorize your heart, because now you're now in competitive energy with something outside of yourself. This is not just for marriages. This is also for when you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, all right, whatever. As long as all this, as long as you are sharing sacral energy with a divine counterpart, man, woman, you guys create a bond, all right? And then you will start seeing things like projection. So if one is stepping out during whatever cycle, if one is starting to look yonder, look for the next hunt, look for whatever, right? They start projecting insecurities inside of the union. Okay? If your home is not secure, you don't invite nobody else in it. And this is where you have a next situation when you have these polyamorous situations where everybody is fragmented, nobody is actually whole, everyone is struggling with some kind of level of insecurity. And then they just keep bringing more people into it. Right? And then whoever is the center point, the person who's actually, which is usually the man, right? Because they could just plug in, he starts feeling like his ego starts getting inflated. That's not backed by anything other than being able to attract other fragmented women, feminine energy. And then they are also now in competition with each other in some weird ass thing. Okay? Why? You know what I'm saying? Okay? So I want to go back to the women though, right? Because women are naturally a little bit more advanced because they do share extra chromosome. Okay, and they have an extra chromosome. So they mature faster, they they emotionally mature faster. Okay? What you sacrifice in order for you to now feel superior to another woman or feel less than to another woman is your divine connection. Your emotions are very key factors in how we communicate with the source within, the creative spirit of God. Okay? So, be mindful of what you're sacrificing in order to have financial gain. I know I used to hear this from elders before, you don't be with a man for nothing, da 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 da. We get it. But one key factor is to have divine union with your heart. Once you start sacrificing your heart, the game is really hard. It's hard for you to create the world that you want to create. Okay? I understand there's elders who came before us who may have not teach us the right thing. Okay? Because we are in a certain state in society, as you can see. If everybody start thinking this way, you don't see the presence of God in your partner, right? You start reducing them to third dimensional things like money, fiat. Okay, the wealth goes beyond that. That will come when the divine union is sacred. Keep it sacred. Men are more than just giving you attention, and the same thing for the men. If you start going now, you want to go be in your lower level nature and just grab a woman who don't have sense yet. That's another thing. As a woman, as you walk the journey of womanhood, you understand there was a moment of blindness, and you start realizing there's a moment of when you're in your body, when you can fully embody being a woman. This is why you see certain men would rather go with younger women because they don't know themselves yet. They don't know themselves yet. They haven't gone through they haven't gotten their badges into the womanhood. Okay? And you as somebody, a woman who has now walked, and you're seeing some girl coming up behind you, right, who may be younger, whatever, instead of going into tamfo bebre, envy, jealousy, help. She's trying to gain her eyes to see, and depending on her bloodline, she may be really blind. Okay? And I'm not saying it doesn't exist at the younger people, because I've seen it. I've seen the young, well, he wants me, because she's also been trained to now in being competitive energy. But she will learn. We all gonna learn. All right? So it make no sense you now trying to put yourself on that level. All right? Okay. Not everybody come from stable households. Not everybody bloodline is the same. Even if you came from a royal bloodline, there's going to be things in it that everybody needs to work through. Because financial gain in this material world that doesn't necessarily equate to spiritual wealth. Because spiritual wealth is not limited to just the coin. So yes, back to the key points of what I am saying, right? Some women naturally, logically will choose to be in envy and jealousy rather than being in a secure relationship, rather than being secure with their union. Okay? They rather have the right, I should say, the based off a community living standard, by the way, not one of God, but let's say the one of man. Okay, by the law of man, they would rather sit and say, well, I was the wife. That is enough to feed their soul. It's not, okay, in all higher perspectives, it's not. But they would rather hold on to that than to live spiritually clean in a divine union with a person who actually love and respect them. So, what does one do? Right? What does one do? Connection with God is very, 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 very important. Okay? Nothing must come in between that connection of God. I don't care. Not cocky, not man. Same thing. All right? Not finances, not the government, not that connection. It will tell you how to move and how to shake throughout this life. So be mindful. Be mindful. You must be in your heart space. And as long as somebody is hurting your heart, you must really stop and assess, because that is what's necessary to connect to God. Not this. No. He gave you this, for wisdom. Dwinamin. Okay? Humility. All right? But remember, you cannot live off this alone. All right? You cannot live off bread alone. So even if somebody is coming to offer security for your flesh, it's not enough. It will not sustain you. You will die a spiritual death. And once you die a spiritual death, Lord of mercy. All right? You start opening up yourself all kind of nonsense. Your frequency goes down. Your consciousness goes down. You start losing gifts that God has given you. And I mean that in spiritual sense as well as physical sense. But like I said, everybody's going through their own journey. All right. So as a woman, if you're seeing the women coming up behind you, they may not gain all the eyes yet because we didn't experience everything. We have Akashic records that I'm sure you can see by our bloodlines. Not everything, they say the sins of the father, the sins of the mother fall upon the child, right? That has to do with your bloodline. It's not just your immediate mother and father. Okay. There's people who can see different spirits that you already have internally as your blood, in your bloodline. Okay, and they can see everything that they do. The Sias, the real Sias. But at the end of the day, if you're offspring of this, right, you still have a chance to choose, given certain things, different opportunities to show what your soul is. So when you say I am, you know who you are. So you have to be presented with these different contrasts Okay, these badges, yeah, in life in order for you to ascend from it. Okay? But the doubt will be there. All the things will be there. All the things that every human has an experience will be there for you to choose. Okay? And you thank God for the opportunity to really point who you are in your journey. Okay? You may not get everything right, but trust me, there will be redemption time. Pay attention. Make sure you're maturing. Make sure you're spending that time in meditation. Make sure you're spending the time with God, because that's all that is. All right? So as women, you're not supposed to be in competition with the ones coming up behind you. You must offer your wisdom as much as you can. And don't give way to insult. Make sure, Iban, secure yourself. And don't invite nobody else in if you know you're not secure in your love for yourself. Okay? But I know it's hard. Because one wise person had told me before that those closer to you hurt you the most. I understand. This is why there must be a period of separation in order for healing to actually occur. And healing doesn't mean you put yourself back in the access of this. As soon as somebody is hurting your heart and they're close to you like this, and they're doing nonsense, all right, you may be turned to be going to a revengeful spirit and say, okay, well, I'll go milk him for all he have. And this goes both ways, by the way. I'm talking to the men. I know I'm talking to the women because I'm a woman. But there's men who know that their wife cheating, horning them, all kind of thing. Okay, meanwhile, their heart is, or they just turn to anger and they want to kill you. Kill them. Instead of moving on. Loyalty is a very important thing. But you're loyal to God first. So if you have chosen a God that wants to have you in suffering, then that will your go. God is not partial. Whatever reality you would like to create, you will create for yourself. What you allow will continue. Things only get tricky when you have divine trinities between man, woman, and child. When you all have children, now you must come to a divine understanding of where we are standing as a foundation. Because now you're raising other children who are now going to be going through the process that you have not yet complete to gain a certain level of knowledge of maturity. Okay? So that union can't break. That union can't break, or else you're going to have a lost child. Don't worry, there's also going to be angels who are there to help, guide. But the first line of defense is you. The parents. So be wise as you're going through life. Gain your lessons, integrate it to wisdom. And you have to do it much faster because they're right there watching. And not only that, they're also facing the world. So the world is also teaching them. So the lessons you have not learned, trust me, somebody over there go try to direct them and down and that's their path to see what kind of soul they are. But as they are progressing, now you can't teach everybody every single thing, right? Because there's deviance, right? There's moments in which they're going to have to be in what their heart really desires is going to come true. And that has nothing to do with your parents, has nothing to do with anybody else in your ancestral lineage. Okay? It has to do with you, the choices that you make. All right? But watch out for them. Try not to look at them as if they're children. You look at them as if they're children. You don't bring yourself down to that level. Okay, and if they're able to reach your level of understanding, cultivate that more. Like, good, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're not falling for certain pitfalls in life. Remember that as you keep going, keep ascending. Especially if they're your people. One God, one aim, one destiny, right? So I'm just sharing this stuff with you because I know with Iban, this came up and I had a dream just now. And I just couldn't believe the nonsense. But the dream had to trigger me to come under here and just deliver this kind of truth. Okay? Do not gain the world and lose your soul. Your heart is very important. Protect it. Fence it. Iban. Secure it. And if you're giving your heart to others, make sure that they're not fumbling it, doing nonsense with it. God don't want that for you, unless you want God to want that for you. You don't have to trade in these things. These things don't have to be traded in. You can have financial wealth. You can have security. You don't have to drain a man of his soul. A man don't have to drain you of his soul just to feel some type of love, especially if you don't have that kind of love for the person who give him life. Or if he does have that kind of love from the person that give him life, but he want to chase things that is not in divine union with God or creation. He wants to chase death. Let him go chase death. You must separate yourself. Okay? May this video find whoever it needs to find when they need to find it. If you stuck around for the rest of this video, congratulations on that. What I just heard too was, listen, when the elders have you, they go teach you the things your mother did not teach you. Okay? When the elders have you, they go teach you the things your mother didn't teach you. Okay? And if you are someone who has been blessed to bring forth life into this world, please understand that you are raising your children for society. You're not raising them for yourself. Okay? So don't let your love make them stupid. Don't let your love make them stupid. Okay? Teach them as much as you can teach them, because you never know tomorrow's promised to no one. All right? So, and yes, you can contact them in spirit, but it's best when they're young, when they don't realize spirit really exists yet, and they're, under the veil, that you teach them as much as you can. Okay? Let every day be a lesson. Pay attention. Pay attention to your children, your creations. Pay attention to them so they can flourish and they can grow beautifully. So when they flower, the world can appreciate it. Okay? And also, after rewatching what I just recorded, I want to make sure that this is clear as well. Pick the sense out of nonsense. If it doesn't resonate, leave it alone. Live your life. Make your own tribulations and trials and tests that you have to pass. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And as far as your marriages, only you know what contract you decide to sign during this soul journey. Okay, I'm just talking to you as a woman, someone who is in her body, someone who's connected to her spirit, connected to her soul, connected to her heart. And I don't look at any other woman like she's beneath or above me. Okay, you may be my elder and I give you respect for living. Okay, but I don't have to put myself down in order to raise you up. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have to put myself down in order to raise you up. Neither do you, to be honest. All right? There's another thought form that came when I was rewatching the video, is this idea of investment and time. Okay? And we as humans, I should say, not just as women, but as humans, we feel as if when we invest something for so long, we don't want somebody else to get the payout, right? What that reminds me of is a gambling machine, So you will sit in front of the gambling machine, keep putting your money, right? And then as soon as you walk away, somebody come and cash out, so that you're using this as for people as well. And that's not how it works, okay? Your presence alone is a stamp of approval for bad behavior. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, what you allow will continue. Shout out to the wise woman who have taught me this lesson. I love you. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so as women, we are one. We are united. Okay, matriarchal, or what you call it, mitochondrial DNA. Okay, dominance. All right. So what does that mean? We share a consciousness. We share a cycle. Okay? You must act as women. So what does that mean? That means that a man will have many women in his life who teaches him certain things about his own feminine energy. Okay? His own feminine energy would be his mother, his sisters, his girlfriends. Okay, until that become all in one. And then he finds a divine woman that he will make his wife, where he would now, this is where his spirit will go to die. Because as you know, women outlive men by quite a bit. He find his piece of land, his woman, as well as his piece of land physically here that he will cultivate and help grow. This is why you must leave them. If you are sharing, partaking wisdom or sharing consciousness with a man as a girlfriend, and you guys have bonded with one another truly. Wait 1 second here. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. There's a place that eat dogs. There's a place. They just eat you. They just eat you. I know it. Go so. Go. Go. Look. All right. What was I saying? Yes. After you have what you allow will continue. So at some point in time, you must also accept that you're in somebody else's life for a season and for a reason. And the more time you stay and you linger in this cycle and lessons that they're not getting, with your presence, because you're given a stamp of approval of their behavior. Now, if women raise their standard of how they want to be treated and actually live in their heart space and understand that this is a very dear and important thing, and as soon as people start damaging this, or they start going the opposite direction, this is where people just get murdered. This is where people just get so again, the jealous spirit, the tomphobia brain. You don't, once you start going down this level, your best just separate and go make sure you're in divine alignment with what is actually is for you. Don't get too attached to nobody. This way you can be able to see what is really for you in your heart space. And nothing that love you will be hurting you. So don't be loyal to time. Don't be loyal to time. Time will not be loyal to you. What you're doing with that time, what you're cultivating during that time. Let the creation speak for itself. All right? Don't think you're being noble for staying. You're preventing the lessons to be learned. Those are the harsh lessons of life. When something good comes into your life, you appreciate it, you cultivate it, right? Unless you start moving resonance. If you start losing resonance and you wasn't supposed to keep that thing, allow that thing to go, you go, and all you learn all your lessons smartly and beautifully. This is why I think that saying come from, if you love something, let it go. If it come back, right, let it go. You don't let it go. You're both poisoning each other, putting more poop in the more toxicity into the relationship, or they start reverting back to immature ways of being, of thinking like children. You're going in the opposite direction. All right? So I know the thought form exists where I have heard a consciousness say, well, I was with this person so long, training them up. They're not dogs. If you're dating a dog, something is all wrong. You are supposed to be with divine a co-creator of your life with. A co-creator of life with. Quite literally children, people, souls you're bringing forth here. You're co-creating with this divine counterpart. Because you move divinely, they will be of equal yoke. Right? You're not in with a dog. Okay? Where you just manipulate and do all kind of thing. Even my dog don't even self-listen. Okay? But either way, she's a good dog. She's well trained. It's just sometimes she have an attitude problem. But to my point is that the thought form exists where you feel like because you are training with them and you're going through so much tribulation with them that you should reap the benefits of the person that they're going to be, and you are not God in their life. Who the hell is you? This is why I say the ego of man go be the downfall. They go be the downfall. Okay, it's not about that. It's either you're in alignment with God or you're not. Simple, simple. And I'm not talking heartless. You have emotions, but you're a woman. You're naturally transmuters. I know some of us have more of this energy than others, and that's why you must lean upon your sisters to help. That's why if this video is helping you, I hope it help. Okay? Because the standard you keep as a woman is the standard I keep as a woman. The better society would be. The better civilization will be. So if you know somebody is doing you wrong, you don't stay. And as a friend, I wouldn't advise you to stay. He beating you, cheating on you, treating you anyhow, lying. Why? Why should you lose yourself in order to be part of this person's world when they're projecting such a bad role onto you? That makes no sense. But what you allow will continue. I'll go bring it back to that. Okay? And wherever you're birthed with that foundation go be garbage. And this comes, again, I keep particularly saying, I know I'm talking to the feminine energy, but this goes both ways. You are co-creators, divine co-creators. So if somebody doesn't appreciate you when you first come into their life, you don't stick around for them to keep showing you how low you could go. Remember your divine connection with God, divinely protected from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Right? So you don't look for man to provide these things. You're divinely protected. And when the man acts stupid and he wants to treat you anyhow, remember there's a judgment day. Don't make it easier for them. Follow God. So as long as you start following your Godhead, you're paying attention to that internal conversation, you're inside your vessel. You'll be able to see who is who, especially if you decide to actually commit your life to that. Everybody have the expiration date. And that may come without warning. May come without warning. But that don't mean you must just live your life stupid or ignorant. Collect your badges. Learn your lessons. You understand? So I keep straying away, but the thought form exists is that if I leave and somebody else cash out on it because it's like a gamble. You're literally gambling. You keep putting energy in, hoping that you go win. I go win. He go be mine. Da. You must forget about God. You're in a gambling habit. You're hoping and praying that he will change or she will change. You did not give them life. You don't know what their soul journey is, but you must remember what lesson you come to impact. And particularly if I show up in your life, it's a time for transformation. I tell you that straight up now. And that's not coming from a state of ego. I'm just telling you what it is. Transform into what? We don't know. Evolve into what? I don't know. But it's not for me to know. I just come at very pivotal moments in life when things about to change. Hey, look at me. Hello, how are you? You know? Things about to get shaken up, my friend. And I pray to God it's for your betterment. Sincerely. All right? Whether you are a friend, whether you are a lover, whether you are a confidant. Okay? I don't wish ill or will on nobody. But like I say, let the lessons be learned by who they need to learn. Every relationship should bring forth a lesson for your own particular soul journey. And when you have your hindsight, you look back and you're like, I wish I could have done this better. I wish I didn't do this. I wish I da. You know, but as a core of a person who you are will shine through. It's up to you whether or not you want to change. What things you want to change and what things you want it to remain the same. And you want it to be cemented in your fiber of your being of who you are in the story that you are creating with life. Co-creating with God. Your life story. Okay? All right? Yes, I agree. Okay. I know this is a 30-minute long extension, but I had to make sure that comes out. All right? It reminds me of that scene of Insecure when Issa was talking about, I just hate that somebody else buys out. That's not, live your life, my friend. Okay? If anything recycle back, make sure it's coming from a good place. All right? And the damage wasn't too severe. Okay? Because there's going to be casualties as we are learning and growing. But don't make those casualties be one of too much of hurt, too much of a darkness, because you go sever the relationship. All right? If God has anything to do with it. She don't want her children to suffer. For what? This is just a school. You're just supposed to be learning. You don't have to suffer.